Most console generations have that one system that is a must-own for any shmup fan. Gen 4 had the Genesis, or PC Engine, the 5th gen had the Saturn, then Generation 6 had the Dreamcast, and undoubtedly the shmup enthusiast console of choice for the 7th generation was the Xbox 360. To most people, the 360 is synonymous with Halo, Gears of War, and 10-year-olds claiming they banged your mom on Xbox Live. However, very few people realize the 360 was an oasis of shmups as well. Even though many of these great shmups never made their way outside Japan, the fact remains that there are many shooters on the 360. Fortunately, a big chunk of these Japanese exclusive 360 shmups also happen to be region free. Yep, no need to import one of the 4 Xbox 360s sold in Japan during its lifespan to play many of these great games. And even if one or more of these titles is region locked, many of them are available on alternative platforms if you really want to play them. But region and compatibility with non-Japanese systems aside, the shmups on this list call the 360 home, and you need to track them down and experience how awesome they are. Before we jump into our list, I do have a small disclaimer, however. All titles that made the cut were given physical releases, meaning all the Xbox Live digital-only releases have been excluded. I have several reasons for doing this, although the two main reasons are top Xbox Live shmups would make its own great list, and also many of the shmups that made this list, no matter how awesome they are, can't even come close to competing to several of the STG offerings on Xbox Live Arcade. In other words, as much as I adore Ikaruga, Dodonpachi, and Radiant Silvergun, I can't have those games dominating every list I make. So for these reasons, I've decided to exclude all digital-only shmup releases on the Xbox 360. But hey, look on the bright side, at least it gives you collectors something else to pine over and spend money you don't have. But anyhow, here we go with the top 10 shmups the Xbox 360 has to offer, at least physically anyways. Number 10, Dodonpachi Daifu, aka Dodonpachi Resurrection. Before we go any further with this list, I'm just gonna come right out and say it. If the 360 and the game developer Cave were people, they'd have the most sultry, intense, nasty-ass relationship ever. Like seriously though, there are so many shmups developed by Cave on the Xbox 360 that if you've ever wondered what all the fuss is about regarding Cave, look no further. And spoiler alert, many of those shooters are on this list, including this one. Dodonpachi Daifu was released in the arcades and on the 360 in the late 2000s, and definitely continues the legacy of awesomeness that the Dodonpachi series is famous for. This means you're blasting a dizzying amount of ships, structures, battle stations, and mechs, while literally hundreds of bullets pretty much block out the entire screen. As impossible and intense as this game might look, the ultra-tight, ultra-precise controls make getting through this game very possible despite you being on suicide watch while attempting to do so. Kidding, you'll absolutely love this game and its bullet hell insanity, which is precisely why it makes the list. Number 9, Mushi Pork. What the hell is this game gonna be about? Is this like one of those strange Japanese game shows where a girl in a bikini and a bunny mask smacks you in the balls with a bamboo stick while you eat raw pork and sing Dancing Queen by ABBA? Funny enough, a game show like this probably does exist in Japan, but as for this excellent 2007 shmup developed by Cave, you'll be taking control of one of 3 bikini-clad waifus as you blast all matter of ships, all while collecting pork? I mean, I guess at least the strange title doesn't misrepresent what the game's all about, right? But yes, you'll be destroying everything on the screen to collect succulent ham, pork, sausage, and hell, even the whole damn pig, until your score is only rivaled by your character's cholesterol after collecting so much damn swine. But this game takes pretty much everything that makes Dodonpachi and its many sequels amazing and dips it in quirky, odd Japanese culture to make it not only a fun as hell shmup, but also probably one of the most memorable ones you'll ever play. And guess what? You even get a bonus game thrown in when you buy the physical edition, even if Pink Sweets doesn't even come close to how awesome Mushi Pork is. And even if Mushi Pork was a standalone release, it would still absolutely be worth owning just for that game alone. Seriously though, check this very strange yet very fun shooter out, you won't be disappointed. Number 8, Mushi Himesama. While certainly not as strange as Mushi Pork, someone at Cave apparently watched Ferngully the Last Rainforest one day and decided it needed a Japanified shmup equivalent. In Mushi Himesama, you'll be controlling some cute anime girl riding a massive beetle as it fires probably 10,000 brightly colored projectiles a minute at all matters of fauna, flora, and invertebrate in this groundbreaking shooter that put hardest video game ever videos on the map. But beneath all the chaos is one of the best controlling shmups ever released and also one of the most visually striking ones as well. Everything from from the brightly colored enemies and stages to massive 3D bosses, there are few shmups that look this pretty. Mushi Himesama also has so many damn neon bullets on the screen, you'll still see them in your vision hours after playing. Seriously though, play this game or any other game with brightly colored bullets and you'll see what I mean. Who needs drugs when you got great shoot-em-ups, right? But definitely pick this one up on your 360 or some place like Steam, since the 360 version is unfortunately one of those region-locked titles. But regardless, Mushi Himesama is a must-play for all shmup fans. Number 7, Under Defeat HD. Oh my god, finally a non-cave game made the list. Don't get too comfortable. But anyhow, Under Defeat was originally released only in Japan on the greatest game console ever made, aka the Sega Dreamcast, all the way back in 2005. Luckily, Rising Star Games updated and ported this game for the rest of the world to enjoy via Under Defeat HD in 2011. And despite this game originally coming out in 2005, Under Defeat still stands as one of the best looking shmups on the 360, even compared to titles released years later on more advanced hardware. In Under Defeat HD, you'll be piloting a helicopter that you'll be rotating to blast all matters of military vehicles and ships. While this game's unique gameplay does come with a decent learning curve, when you finally get used to Under Defeat's controls, you'll wonder why more shooters don't utilize gameplay like this. So if you're looking for a really good shmup that deviates from how your typical STG controls and plays, then Under Defeat should absolutely occupy your 360's disk drive. Number 6, Katsui. Most people would agree that the Dodonpachi series is Cave's most famous. I mean, there are like 50 games in the Dodonpachi series at this point. And also, for the love of God, Cave, please give us a new entry. It's been almost 9 flippin' years, guys. But anyhow, outside Dodonpachi, one of the most famous and beloved titles Cave ever created was the Scorehound wet dream known as Katsui. However, despite being released relatively long ago, this game continues to get ported again and again to newer consoles. I mean, Jesus, even Ikaruga's getting jealous at this point. But there's a very good reason Katsui is so loved and continually gets ported and re-released. Sure, on the outside it might just look like another Dodonpachi sequel to the untrained eye, but to the hardcore this is one of the most competitive shmups ever made. While almost all shooters have been played competitively for high scores at this point, Katsui's system of encouraging wrist to rack up points makes it not only very difficult to get good at this game, but also the thrill of having to play this way makes it incredibly addictive as well. But if you're curious to see what a highly competitive shooter looks like, you really don't have to look any further than Katsui. Number 5, Death Smiles. Many video game genres over the years have mixed horror into them, however the shmup genre generally is not one of them. But luckily, if you happen to be a lover of shoot-em-ups and spooky shit, Death Smiles has you covered. Released in 2009 on the 360, Death Smiles has lollies shooting gajillions of bullets, skulls, and other creepy objects at all matters of creatures, monsters, ghosts, and other things that go bump in the night. And the best part is, everyone got this game. Yep, you could walk into your local GameStop and buy this game right now if you wanted to. But accessibility and horror theme aside, you'd be hard-pressed to find a shooter that looks this cool and plays this precisely. You'll always know where your hitbox is in Death Smiles, allowing you to pull out some extremely small movements to dodge the ridiculous amount of projectiles flying at you. On top of that, you'll be constantly switching directions to deal with a ton of enemies coming in behind and in front of you at all times too. Death Smiles is definitely one of the best horizontal shooters ever made, and given how widely released this game is, you have no excuse not to go pick it up and play it. Number 4, Akai Katana Shin. Saving the day once again, Rising Star Games gave the rest of the non-Japanese world a chance to avoid insanely ridiculous import shmup surcharges that would make the mob blush by releasing this game in both North America and Europe. Sadly, this is one of the very last shooters Cave ever developed and released seemingly forever ago in 2010. So if you want to see how much Cave has evolved as a developer since their humble mid-90s beginnings, look no further than Akai Katana Shin. Both in style and gameplay, Akai Katana feels like the spiritual successor to Cave's obscure arcade-exclusive gem, Pro Gear no Arashi. However, to say it's just a remake of Pro Gear would be highly inaccurate, as Akai Katana goes well above and beyond anything offered in Pro Gear. In fact, Akai Katana offers a significantly better experience than you'll find on 90% of all other shmups, including Pro Gear no Arashi. I mean seriously though, Akai Katana is one of the best horizontal shooters ever conceived, and the balance, polish, and refinement to the gameplay is matched by very few shmups, 360 or otherwise. It's not half bad to look at either. But anyhow, let's move on. Number 3, writein Fighters Aces. I always feel bad placing compilation games on countdowns like this, since the added value of having more than one game on a single disc makes these collections difficult to beat. And in the case of writein Fighters Aces, which includes not 1 or 2 but 3 outstanding titles on one disc, it almost makes this game worthy of being number 1 on this list. However, I will justify the placement of this game based on just one of the games included, writein Fighters. Yep, just the first writein Fighters game, a spin-off of the well-known writein series of shmups, is easily better than almost all other Xbox 360 games. Hell, even the other two included games, writein Fighters 2 and writein Fighters Jet, are way better than 90% of the 360 shmup library. These are all outstanding old-school style shooters that will have you collecting power-ups, changing shot types, and destroying town-sized bosses in 3 games that put nearly every game in their parent series, writein, to shame. But regardless of which game you want to buy this compilation for, any one of them justify the purchase of this outstanding Xbox 360 masterpiece. Number 2, Dodonpachi Daifu. I mean, there had to be a Dodonpachi game in the top 3 spots on this list. There just had to be. While for me, the original Dodonpachi is still the best in the series, its sequel, Daifu, isn't too far off in terms of how excellent it is. Daifu's bump in graphics and scale certainly make this game look more impressive than the original, but since we're not including Xbox Live digital releases, Daifu gets its place in the sun today. But whether this is your favorite Dodonpachi game or your second favorite, you would be hard-pressed to find a better shmup anywhere than Daifu, period. And unfortunately, you probably will have to look elsewhere if you want to play this game, since the 360 version, unfortunately, is region-locked to Japanese 360s only. Luckily, though, there's the PS2 version, which, wait, that's region-locked as well, isn't it? Well, shit, I guess it's time to buy a candy cabinet in the original PCB and go to town, right? But regardless of how inconvenient and difficult it is for you to acquire and play this game, I promise that Daifu is absolutely worth the effort despite which platform you struggle to play it on. Dodonpachi Daifu is one of the best shooters ever made, and one you need to play if you consider yourself a shmup fan. Number 1, Mushi Himesama Futari. Just like Ferngully the Last Rainforest, Mushi Himesama also got a sequel, except Mushi Himesama's sequel didn't completely suck ass. In fact, Mushi Himesama Futari is about as polar opposite of ass suckage as you can possibly get. This game makes Radiant Silvergun and Battle Garega sweat bullets on my best shmups ever made list, as it threatens to beat them up and take their places higher up. Even compared to our previous entry, Dodonpachi Daifu, Mushi Himesama Futari almost doesn't even have any real competition on the 360 when it comes to shooters. As crazy and borderline absurd as that statement sounds, it's absolutely true. Futari somehow takes everything from its predecessor and makes it better. And be my guest, play the first Mushi Himesama, then play Futari right after, and become a believer, my friends. It's almost black magic how impossibly good Futari controls, plays, and feels. And Mushi Himesama Futari might also be the best looking shooter ever made, bar none. And guess what? It's a Japanese exclusive too. But luckily, it's one of those awesome region-free discs you can play on your US or PAL 360s drama-free. And while this game isn't exactly cheap, it's one of the few elite import-exclusive shmups that won't require $1 million and a blood sacrifice to own. So from one shmup fan to another, please, please, please pick this game up now. Hell, buy a 360 right now too if you need to, just to play Mushi Himesama Futari. It's beyond worth it, trust me. But that concludes my top 10 Xbox 360 shmups, and incidentally, the top 10 games you need to be tracking down on eBay, Steam, or your local Facebook collectors group right now. But before you head off on your journey to acquire these excellent 360 shooters, please drop this video a like, my channel a sub, and be sure to comment with your favorite Xbox 360 shooters. Thank you all again for watching, and I'll catch you next time.